Hello everyone, welcome back. This is RandoGEEK. So I have an exciting update here for everyone. So whether you're an iPhone user or an Android user, this is good news for both parties, and I'll tell you why. If you're an iPhone user and you have an Android friend or a friend that has an Android and you want to text each other and you've tried texting each other, well, I think you know how that went. Not good, not smooth, very inconvenient, and maybe even awkward. Awkward for an iPhone user and certainly embarrassing and awkward for an Android user. And that is because of iMessage that belongs to Apple devices. Apple has made their own little world of messaging, which is really cool if you have an iPhone, because iPhone users amongst each other can have a good old time. There's all kinds of cool emojis. Texting is easy. It just works flawless. It's one of the biggest reasons many have chosen to buy an iPhone over an Android. The simplicity of it, everyone has it. It's like a private world of conversation for all iPhone users. If you have that, you're part of the cool kid club, pretty much. And that's how it was for a long time. Android came along since and made some changes to make Android devices a little bit more similar to how iMessaging works. What they call this is RCS, which is Rich Communications, okay? What this does is this allows Android users to have an example of what iMessage is. Cool emojis, more convenient texting between one another, and basically just a chat, just like iMessage is. So since then, many devices have adopted this. Many Android devices have adopted this format, and it's been very successful, making Android devices much more interesting when it comes to messaging other Android users. It's also helped the conversation slightly between iPhone and Android users. However, it's not perfect, hasn't been completely smoothed out because of iPhone. There's still restrictions with iMessage. That is going to change, and that's what this big update is about, is that Apple, which I do want to let you know, is being forced to adapt RCS. So what's going to be happening is Apple's iPhone will embrace the RCS Rich Communication Services, which is the messaging standard that serves as the backbone for modern text messages for all other phones that are not iPhone. So every other phone uses this now, except for iPhone, which has their own private iMessage. So they're saying that the phones will support the RCS standard, which allow the option for iMessage style features between Android and iPhone users when texting each other. So if I have an iPhone, which I have an Android, but let's say you have an iPhone and you send me a message, I can like your message, I can like your comment, and I can send you some cool gifts, and you can send me some cool gifts, and we can kind of have a relationship here now. They're saying that it's not going to be an iMessage for Android users. There will be some restrictions, I'm sure, that iMessage is going to keep some of those big benefits just for iPhone users. There'll still be blue bubbles and green bubbles, from what it seems like, but there'll be more of a friendship rather than like, a snobbish, we'll take your text message, but we won't really let you do anything with it. That's the attitude of an iPhone and Apple. That's how they basically built iMessage, is super convenient for iPhone users and embarrassing and inconvenient for Android users. And it also creates a conflict between both parties, and friends. They can't communicate with each other unless they have iPhones. Now, it's very clever because that's a lot of reasons why iPhones have sold so successfully over the last couple of years, simply because of iMessage. And I'm sure many of you will agree that a lot of you may have went out there and got an iPhone due to iMessage alone. That was one of the biggest reasons you might have chosen to get an iPhone, because maybe a lot of your friends have one, maybe a lot of people in your family have one, and you wanted to be able to have a conversation with them without having restrictions, as if you would have gotten, an Android, even the top tier Androids, expensive Galaxy or a Pixel. Doesn't matter. It's all about RCS versus iMessage. So it's really cool to see that they're going to be playing nice together now. This is how it should be. I understand where Apple is coming from. I don't appreciate it, but I get it. It was very smart. It was a great way to make money, because you build a platform, and you build a service that only iPhone users can use. You can cash in like crazy, and they did. That's a great way to keep people from buying Androids. But now that they're being forced to adapt to the RCS standard, I wonder if this is going to change a little. Now that Android and iPhones are going to be playing just a little bit nicer together, I wonder if people will, if they were already thinking about it, will they decide to leave iPhone and try an Android? Maybe just because it's cheaper, So that's going to be very interesting. I think we'll see some of that. We've already starting to see people leaving iPhone just because it's getting too expensive. And even though they love iMessage, it's become irrelevant to them to pay all that money for a device that they're just not really feeling just to keep iMessage. Especially since RCS is workable. You can text people with iMessage. It's not as fun. There are certain things you still cannot do. You can't like pictures. Sometimes you can like comments, the text, but photos are still being restricted. You can't really send all these cool GIFs. Certain things just get in the way. That's the restrictions from iMessage. A lot of that is going to be cut out now. So I'm super excited to report this to you guys. Hopefully most of you will agree that it's time. Enough is enough. I mean, everyone pays for their wireless service. Some people pay a lot of money. Some people pay $100+ a month for one line. And to say that you can't text your friend because he has an iPhone, but you have an expensive Galaxy S23 Ultra, that's a little cruel on Apple's side. I get it, but I never respected it. I never condoned it. And I'm glad they're being forced to make some of these changes. This, along with adding the USB-C port on the phones. Good. So I like this. Some may agree, disagree, don't care either way. I'm still interested in hearing your thoughts on this topic. If you're affected by this, if you're an Android user and you've had difficulties sending message to iPhone users, this is for you. If you're an iPhone user and you have a lot of friends with an Android and you were hoping that you can communicate with them better, this is for you. This is for both parties. Good news, it's a win for technology today. All right, guys, as always, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.